Hello world, welcome to Coding After Effects JSX series. In this tutorial I want to go over how to create a JSX file, and I also want to go over the syntax of your typical JSX file. And the main reason behind that is because usually we take a look at a JSX file, it looks different from the code that you usually see in your expression code, and I want to go over the reason behind the difference so you can have a better idea of what's going on with this JSX file that you put in your composition. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click somewhere in here, go to new, and I'm going to go to text document, and I'm going to name this file import, and I'm going to change the extension name to JSX. If I can type. And yes, I do want to change the extension name. Don't worry about that warning or going in and changing the extension name by hand. This is not a big deal. The only reason you need to do this is because you need After Effects to actually understand what file that you're bringing in, and this is one of the easiest ways of doing it. And this is different from how you would do with a JPEG and PNG, where After Effects or Photoshop creates that file for you because they have to interpret how that file needs to be viewed. But when you're creating a JSX file or JSON file, you don't really need to go through all that. They just know how to interpret it once they see that extension name, and that should be good enough. So with that out of the way, you can use any text editor that you want. You can use Notepad++, you can use Notepad, WordPad, or even Word to open up this file and work with it. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code to open up this file, and it's a free text editor that you can use to program with. And this is, if you're used to the channel or seeing other videos, the main text editor that I use to actually code in for most of the videos. So I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to create a string, and I'm going to put hello world. Save it, minimize this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it into After Effects. Go ahead and create a new composition, call it main, and I'm going to create a new text and write in hey. Let me change the name of this by pressing enter, and I'm going to call it import. I'm going to go inside of here. I'm going to go to source text, alt click on that so I can bring up the expression editor, and I'm going to type in footage and double quotes, import JSX, and this is just going to allow me to import that file into my expression. And of course you have to put in source data, and from that expression it's going to interpret that JSX file for you. And usually when you go inside of your JSX, your code don't usually have a string, you usually have another syntax called an object, but you can have any type of data type that you want on here. I can get rid of this and put in a number data type like 23, save it, and go back to After Effects, and I get 23. But one thing to note is that you can't have multiple expressions or data types in here, or you're going to get an error. So if I put a semicolon right here and type and go back in here. As you can see, it went back to hey. It's because I'm getting an error from my JSX. After Effects don't know how to interpret what's going on with the JSX file, even though I have two lines and I have a semicolon separating these two lines of code. It can only see one line of code or one data type, so doing this is going to cause an error. So let me get rid of that, save it again, go back to After Effects, and I get that lone text that doesn't really spell out any type of word. So let's go in here, and if you've seen some of my older videos, I do explain data types, but for you that are new to my channel, if you type in type of, and let me click out of here, I get string. And what type of does is it give me the data type that is being displayed from that JSX file. So if I go back inside of my text editor and get rid of this and type in another number again, 52, save it, and I go back in here, since I got rid of the string and typed in a number data type, which is basically pure numbers, and a string is anything that's inside of a double quote, single quote, or in the new JavaScript engine for expression, you can put in the two backticks. Those make a string, but since I don't have that for the number or any type of letter with the inside of those quotes and the backticks that I explained, I get a number. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because usually when you look inside your JSX, you see this data type, which is an object data type that is created by using a curly open and close bracket. So if I save this, go back in here, I get an object. And what an object is used for to create a key and value pair. And you can have multiple key and value pair inside of your object, and that's what makes an object powerful, and that's what makes an object usually the ideal data type for your JSX, is because you can have multiple values in there, and you can also easily grab those key value types by grabbing it by its name. So let me give an example of that. So if I go back in here, I'm going to type in num. No, I don't want that. And I'm going to put in 50. And I'm going to save it. And I'm going to get rid of this type of, because we know that's an object, so type of is not needed anymore in this example. And if I just leave it how it is, I'm going to get object. With an object data type, you need to actually type in the name of the value that you want. In this case, it's num, even though there's no other key name in here. If I put dot num, that's one of the ways you can actually call that key name, and I get 50. And if I wanted to add another key value pair, I can go in here and type in program, make it string, and After Effects, go back in here, get rid of num, and I'm going to type in program, and that's going to give me After Effects. So that's basically it for the basics of the JSX file and why it has that weird syntax. That syntax is native to expressions in general. You can use an object in your expression code outside of JSX, but that's not something that's commonly known to the average person that uses expressions or After Effects in general. So that's the reason why the JSX code is so weird. But with that being said, the next video I will go over objects more in general so you can have a better understanding of objects farther than what I showed in this video. And I'd like to thank everybody to subscribing to my channel. I'm planning on making more videos. I don't want to make any promises because I've done that in the past and I haven't did it, but I'm just going to say that the videos are going to come. So subscribe or just stay tuned wherever you want to do. The videos are coming. And till the next time, be safe and peace out, world.